Welcome to Movate Talks, Business Insights Unplugged. Join us as we share insights and perspectives from technology and operations leaders, industry analysts, and visionaries on how today's technology trends are transforming their businesses and communities. Sit back and enjoy the episode.
Hi, and welcome to Movate Talks, Business Insights Unplugged. My name is Amardeep. I am head of Europe at Movate, and I'll be your host today. I'm very excited to introduce you to Giuseppe Ficara. He's a technology leader, a group data and AI officer at Amplifon. He brings a wealth of experience in data strategy, in transformation. Giuseppe is an expert in helping businesses rethink their processes, decision making through the power of data, and how AI can be leveraged to improve small and complex challenges and thus driving innovation. So, Giuseppe, welcome once again to the podcast. It's an absolute pleasure to have you on the show.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's my pleasure, really my pleasure. And thank you for the great presentation and introduction.
Giuseppe, you have had a notable career in data and technology. Could you tell us more about your role as the Group Data and AI Officer at Amplifon? And what are the key lessons from your journey that are most valuable to you in this role?
Well, let's say I can give you a little bit of context of what is my experience now, what are the key lessons, just to start talking about this great content and topic that is data and AI. Well, before joining Amplifon in my current position as a group data and AI officer, I spent more or less 15 years in the data and AI space. Primarily, let's say, shaping strategy in leading consulting firms like Deloitte and Accenture. And actually, this experience gave me the opportunity to work across different markets, industries, and geographies, gaining, I can say, a broad perspective on how organization, big and small, are approaching data-driven transformation. Well, let me say that one of the biggest challenges I've seen in adopting data and AI is that people really struggle to change how they work. Companies investing in cutting edge tools, technologies, but the transformation happens only when employees are willing to experiment, let's say, adapt, and rethink their approach. Also, if considering we have time, I want to give you something that I used to say to my clients, and then I used to say to my peer and my colleagues. Let me share a fascinating, experiment conducted at Stanford University in the 70s from a professor, Walter Michael. It's called, maybe you know it, it's called a marshmallow challenge. It's quite fascinating because the rules are very simple. Teams get 20 sticks of spaghetti, some tape. I'm an Italian, so when it refers to spaghetti, it's always fine. No? Some tape, a piece of string, and a marshmallow. And the goal of this challenge is actually to build the tallest possible freestanding tower with a marshmallow on top. Now, involved, the teams are made up by MBA graduates, top engineers, senior executive, and a group of really young players, kindergartens. So you're not surprised. Who always won and win this challenge? The kindergarten, every time. But you know why? Why this is still interesting? Because while the professional overthink all the time, strategize, plan, etc., the kids just start building. They test, fail, adjust, try again, and so without fear of making any mistakes. So meanwhile, the MBAs and senior executives spend so much time discussing the perfect plan that they finally place the marshmallow on top and the entire structure collapses. I think this experiment is a perfect metaphor on how many companies approach AI and data transformation. The employees who have been doing their job in the same way for years now tend to analyze and resist and wait for the perfect use case rather than experimenting and iterating. So, at Amplifon, we know that the successful AI adoption isn't just about having the best technology in place. No, it's about helping people to go back, let's say, to the kindergarten, no?
Mm.
So we create an environment where people and employees feel comfortable to test, fail fast, learn quickly, just like those kids on the marshmallow challenge. You know? Because at the end of the day, just to conclude my answer, AI and data are not just about technology alone. No, they're about changing how people work, and that requires rediscovering the ability to experiment, iterate, and embrace new way of thinking. So I think this is my first lesson, no, on my 15 years in data and AI.
Thank you. No, I actually couldn't agree more. I think fail fast and adapt and retry is very crucial. I think it comes to all innovation, all new technology trends. It's without a doubt, I think key to success. So, while you mentioned this is one of your key lessons that you learned, in the data and AI space, as we create more and more data, and we hear about more and more AI applications, and obviously there are a lot of use cases. Now, with the lesson that you've learned, what are the biggest challenges that you see when you actually are implementing complex programs? What are the challenges you see? And with those complexities, do you see navigation around data governance, regulatory, or it's just all about technology adoption? So how do you see them, and what do you do, Giuseppe?
Well, a lot of challenges. Otherwise, there will be there will be not no data and AI officer around. But I think, except for the adoption part, that we already discussed before, now there's I think three main topics that you already mentioned, a couple of. The first one is about data governance. So there's a lot of technology around. We used to talk a lot about AI, generative AI, robot, and machine that will do our job. But at the end of the day, what is important is our knowledge about our processes, and so our data. Our data is, I think, still the new oil. Someone 10 years ago said data is the new oil. Well, I think that is the same now. AI is a very big game changer, but data is still the new oil, because with consistent, high quality, accessible data across different regions and business units, you can gain what is the real result you want to achieve. At Amplifon, for example, we are adopting a data as a product approach, where business domains take the ownership of the data, making it more accessible, high quality, and reusable. So I think first challenges, but also first opportunity is how to best govern the data, so the data governance. Second, I think, is what you mean, the regulatory. Not a sexy topic, not a very fancy one, but I think it's something that we need to be really taking care of, because different regions have different topics about privacy, regulation. You can think about the GDPR in Europe, or the emerging AI laws in the US and Asia, the AI Act that just arrived in Europe in February, that with the first regulation in place. So basically addressing this kind of regulatory framework, having the technology to monitor it, I think it's very, very mandatory. It's a big challenge in a company, in a multi-country company, like Amplifon, like the other companies that are managing the business in different countries. I think the third one is that is always on a challenge for every technology leader, is the technology fragmentation. So there's a lot of technology around. There's in the previous year there's been this race to journey to the cloud, to migrate all the things on the cloud, and it let's say deduplicate the number of systems that we have to manage, because we have several options with the cloud instead of the legacy. I think this is the complexity, is to build a scalable, on the data and AI context, a scalable data and AI architecture that enables seamless access of data and AI solution across different geographies and platforms. Simple to say, complex to do. But I think at the end of the day, what I learned during my experience and what I'm trying to do in my job is to leverage on a federated data governance model, no? Ensuring that local markets have the flexibility to adopt and adapt while maintaining a global consistency in how data and AI are used across regions, countries, and processes.
I think this is really important. I think the having sovereignty in terms of standardization centrally and giving regions the flexibility to adopt and adapt to the change. I think this is brilliant. I think I really resonate. I think this is really resonating point, Giuseppe.
Yes, I think on this point, there's a lot of value in different
Mm,
angles, no, in different point of view, and the localization and the peculiarity
mm,
of each country, of each people. But it is very important to empower and enhance this value and valorize this opportunity, but having in mind that we need to maintain standard, regulation, policies, and governance. So this is the challenge. This is the challenge. I think that is a regulatory, that is technology, that is data, no, but guarantee the flexibility by maintaining a standard monitoring. It's the key challenge.
mm. No, I agree. I think that will continue to evolve. Now, while as you said, 1 year ago versus what we see today in terms of AI, the number of applications, we heard about something coming out in China as well. Data and AI, data is evolving and data is being created every day. AI is evolving every hour, I would say. Every day you see a new application which is coming out. Now, in terms of trends in how to manage data, how do you see that is being enabled by the advancements in the AI space and how the analytics, so data, the analytics, and the advancements in AI, you believe will help us as this generation to move forward? How do you think the businesses will adapt to it? And if more so, how does that help the health tech organizations, to improve their businesses and possibly, how does this help the society at large? It's a very long question, Giuseppe, but it has various elements to it. But in short, can it
One
help?
million
Can it really
question.
help us? Yeah, can it help society finally move forward?
Yes, yes. Actually, no, this is a really, really good question. I think it's quite. I think I really feel lucky to be in this market, in this industry during this time, no, because we are experiencing we're witnessing an historical moment
Mm,
on a fundamental shift, let's say, where AI is moving for being something very technical, very focused on predictive tool, forecasting tool, to becoming a sort of, let me call it a co-pilot for decision making. No, in general, in general. You're referring, so what are the key trends or the key benefits? Too complex to summarize it, but I think I have this idea. No, the first very crucial point is that AI and Gen AI will support us. Will support our business productivity or our personal, let's say, personal productivities, because everyone in our daily tasks, daily activities, we start using AI and Gen AI, Chat GPT, Gemini, whatever. I am a very frequent traveler. I used to travel a lot for this is my passion, and before I used to do it researches on Google, Excel, plan it, doing a sort of numbers. I have to spend this time to go there, from there to there. I have to do the passport, the visa for this country. I have to spend money for this and that. For planning a travel, I used to ask to Gemini or ChatGPT. I want to go there. Now, what are the main things that I had to plan? What is the most important places to visit? Can you build or plan for me an itinerary? For this traveling, and this is happening in our
mm,
day-to-day activities. And if you can think about it from an enterprise perspective, this is a great boost in our productivity. I see AI power Copilot, enhancing efficiency across function, from the customer support to marketing to the R&D. A lot of colleagues are asking me, okay, can I have tools like generative AI tool to start brainstorming and to have some challenges, to have a benchmark on my ideas? It's fantastic, but we really need to take it seriously on how we use this kind of tool with the right policies, with the right guidelines. So first, I think the first point is personal productivity in our life, in our business. Second, talking and referring to enterprise, I think there's a lot of room for optimizing processes, so cost optimization to enable our colleagues and our to enable to free up our space, our time to do things with a much value, or optimizing, automatizing routinary job. And then I see a lot of opportunity for personalization. Now you see marketing is very impacted on this kind of solution. I saw during my past year in consulting a lot of clients, industry, and companies working on this personalization, because this is something that take us a lot of time before the Gen AI to build copy, creatives, etc., etc. Now we have the opportunity to push our imagination, to boost our imagination, because we have a lot of, we have someone that help us doing the very practical job. And I think also for the healthcare, there's a huge potential, because you see, there's an opportunity for us, for example, to support our clients to also at least to inform themselves about what is an hearing aid and what are the benefits to buy an hearing aid, and to personalize the experience in the shop, to personalize the experience in having an hearing aid, and living better, enjoying the sounds of life. We used to say, and we used to work on every day. And then I think there's a big point in having a responsible and explainable AI, because we can do a lot of things, both in personalization, on everything we said, but we need to be very careful to have the human in the loop. Now, at the end of the day, who is in charge of taking decision, building products, offering new services? At the end of the day, it's always the human. And so we need to have tools and technologies that support human to do his work in a better, faster way, not to substitute how people and employee work.
No.
So at the end of the day, personalization, efficiency, and new services are the key benefit that this kind of technology will bring us.
No, I think I completely agree with you. I think just what you mentioned at the end, summarizing it, the personalization being one of the key points as well. I think I completely agree with you. And what you said is very touching, Giuseppe. You said hear the sound. I think it's what a great moment. Somebody who was hearing it, or is he going to hear for the first time, and walking them through the whole journey. I think it is just fantastic. I think it really would be an experience.
One of the key reasons why I joined Amplifon is that one, because I can be part of a story that support and make the life of millions of person better. I joined a couple of store doing their job. It is really amazing. See what happened when people start hearing and start hearing better. It's a completely different life. So this is very, very emotional to me. Still working on the AI, that is very, very machine and very cold topics. But I think this is very emotional, applying AI in Amplifon.
I think true. I completely agree. Giuseppe, so while we spoke about the the how the AI is being applied, and you see personalization at the center of it, right? And I think there was a great example used by you for the emotional element of AI, right? And making sure it is all responsible. Organizations are going through this massive change, right? Obviously, the fellow chief data and AI officers, what would you like them to know, for defining the strategy when they are going to go after the AI in their businesses? It could be generic to any industry, but what would you recommend as part of their strategy? They have, a couple of things that are quite important to consider while defining this.
Oh, good question. It's always challenging to answer this question because as I used to be a consultant, no, the answer should be always it depends, no?
Yeah.
But I think that considering the time we are living, no, we talk about the very great innovation every day, every month. There's a new AI, new best of breed in the market. No, I think that we as a technology leader, we used to always test the latest one, no, the most innovative one. And you used to focus on the technology instead of the business side of the story. I think the first focus, I think, should be always think about the business impact. No, think always about how this kind of technology can support to do things better, faster, in more cost efficient way. So having the ROI of the initiative in mind, no? Instead of having the identification of the best technology on the market. Seems easy to understand, but it is very complex when you love your job as a data and AI or technology leader. I think the second point. So the first is a sort of business alignment. The first principle. The second one, I think it is. We already talk about it, but is the data and AI governance in terms of organization. Not be the only one player, the main character of this story, but build up a team involving all the players in the company. For example, the security guy, the innovation guy, the business, the marketing guy, having a bold and wide team, because AI is not about only one function. It's not only about technology. It's about having a broad impact in the company. So this is a matter not having only one deciding which is the best AI or which is the best use case to develop, to design, to play in the company, but it's about having a teamwork, on prioritizing and doing the right investment and the right prioritization in the use case. And third, I think we already talked about it. Fail fast, but test everything, make it scalable and prove it with a strong adoption plan. I think as we said, the adoption and the possibility to fail in this moment are very huge, because the technology is very great, but it's very new. So how to integrate it in processes they used to do in the same way, for years, it's a big change. And the most difficult one is not the technology change, the technology shift is the human change management. So I think this is the scalability adoption is the third one. So business alignment, data and AI operating model, organization, and scalability adoption are the three focus that I would suggest to any data and AI leader.
Thank you. No, Giuseppe, I agree. I think keeping ROI in mind, not focusing on the best technology in the world, focusing on the fail fast, adapting to the change, and I think scalability adoption of the AI. I think it's key to its success. I think more people adopt it, the ROI just becomes much easier. So I think it's a great feedback to the fellow industry peers that what should they consider when they are implementing AI. Now, I think I want to pivot away from the technology part. I want to ask you something. In terms of we talked about that joining Amplifone and doing the larger good, and AI being at the core of it. I think it's interesting. So, while you are passionate about what you do, what are your other hobbies outside of this passion that you have? And how do you maintain balance with it?
Interesting question. No, the balance is always a problem in our life. But I really love that I just said. No, I really love exploring the world. I used to do it with my girlfriend and wife now, and I used to do it also with my little daughter now. I used to travel around the world because traveling gives me new perspective and continuous learning opportunities. No, I'm a backpacker traveler. No, so I used to do it like this. I visited more than 60 countries, I think, all over the continents in the last 10 years. Honestly, I only miss India, not just referring, but I will cover it. I will cover it as soon. The sooner the better. So for sure, one of the best moments for me is when I travel with my family, because I completely stop thinking about work, and I really focus on my family. This is, I think, the best moment when you recharge your battery. No, and you can be smarter and you can be energized when you come back to work. Obviously, no, as every Italian, I'm also really passionate about soccer. No,
Uh-huh.
and I'm a big fan of Inter Milan, and where I have the possibility, I'm always in San Siro supporting the team. And for an Italian, it's quite easy to say that. And then I think that the third one is I enjoy riding my motorbike, visiting the most beautiful places in Italy, and this is another way to stop thinking on everything else, enjoying the ride, and feeling the freedom of going on a motorbike. I think this is something really really powerful for me. Having this moment to completely stop thinking at AI, data, governance, security, whatever. Start thinking and focusing on something completely different.
I think no, I fantastic. You are invited to India, Giuseppe. We have our Amplifone facility in Chennai, so we
Yes, I have
when
to. I
we
have to.
you have to, and we will invite you to see our bigger centers, etc. We have Movate.ai labs in India, so we'll be more than
Yeah,
happy to
sure
invite
thing.
you.
There will be chance for sure.
We'll make some plans around it. So, as we wrap up, what we talked about, AI, we talked about, personalization. We also talked about the strategy and what should be, what are the things we should look after. Finally, what about is there any key takeaways from a life perspective, general perspective, so our listeners, perhaps one a professional one and one can be personal. If you have some two key takeaways for our listeners, that'd be great. Giuseppe.
Yes, yes. I'm not a big fan of giving other no takeaways or giving other suggestions, because everyone has its own peculiarity. But if I have to say, for a professional takeaway, I think that we discuss a lot about AI, data and AI. I think AI transformation is like. We talk about the marshmallow challenge. It's like the
Yes.
marshmallow. It's like the marshmallow challenge. It's not about planning for perfection. It's about experimenting, adapting, and iterating quickly. It is about AI and data. It's about technology in general. This is the professional takeaway. Very simple, but it's a real life, a real work life. And for the personal takeaway, I think the point is there's a very big famous one that say stay curious, stay angry, stay
Mhm.
curious. I think this is something that I really used to think about every time, whether in business or in life. Continuous learning will always lead you to do something special. having always the curiosity to do something different, and not living in the status quo, not living in a comfort zone, I think is the most important takeaway that I always follow in my life.
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. I think staying curious is very important. I think it opens a lot of possibilities. You see things from 360-degree point of view. So I couldn't agree more. I think, well, Giuseppe, thank you so very much for the key takeaways and taking out the time and sharing your thoughts, and being part of our podcast. I really appreciate this, and I'm sure that the listeners would have gained a lot from the AI, the strategy that you mentioned, and the common pitfalls, etc. And I'm sure there'll be some learnings for all of us. But thank you so much, sharing
Thank
all your
you.
experience.
Thank you. It was really a pleasure.
Thank you for listening, and do share your thoughts in the comments section. We can't wait to bring you the next episode, so stay tuned for more.